Okay, so.
Okay, so this week we're going to be looking at the oscilloscope. And I have two different varieties of oscilloscope here. I have an old-timey oscilloscope, which is called an analog oscilloscope. And I'm going to put a little video up explaining what the difference between analog and digital is. And over here we have a little fancier oscilloscope that's a digital oscilloscope. And you can see this one's mighty thin in comparison to this behemoth. This one uses what's called a cathode ray tube, and maybe your grandparents still have the big giant TVs with the cathode ray tube, but it's the same technology. There's literally a gun in here shooting electrons at this screen, and when there's a coating on the back of the screen, and when the electron hits it, it glows. And using electric fields, the electron's trajectory is manipulated left and right and up and down. And what this is for is it's basically a very, very fancy version of one of these. Now, we've used these multimeters in lots of experiments, and predominantly we use them as voltmeters, and that's what this is. This is a very fancy voltmeter. The difference is that this one measures the voltage in real time. This one sort of measures kind of an average of a voltage. We'll talk about that in another video, but if the voltage is changing in time, it'll be displayed on the screen in real time. Now, I also, for this week, have this contraption here, which is called a function generator. And it does that. It generates mathematical functions of different voltages, and it lets me control the frequency, and it lets me control the amplitude of those functions. Now, to connect these together, I'm going to use what's called a BNC cable. B as in boy, NC. And so the way this works is, I don't know if you can see this or not,
Close. I got it.
but
Yeah.
there's a little channel here, and on the matching connector, there's a little nub that the channel fits in.
Yeah.
And so when you connect it, you have to line them up, and then it twists to secure. And incidentally, if you look in this cable, there's a prong coming out, and then there's a hole there. This is called a male connector. That's called a female connector, for hopefully obvious reasons. If not, I'll refer you to Mr. Robinson's biology instruction. But it locks on, and then the cable is secure. And then we can connect it to the function generator. And hopefully we can see the function. Now, this particular function generator is a little primitive. It only has 3 different functions on the thing. So this is putting out a sine wave right now. And you can see I can change the frequency of the sine wave. And I can also change its amplitude. And what the oscilloscope does is you can see there's a grid superimposed.
Do it one more time so they can see you moving it. They sit on both. So, yeah.
All right, so as I change the amplitude, you can see the amplitude is going up and down on the screen. And as I change the frequency, you can see that the frequency is being caught on the oscilloscope in real time as I change it. Now, the voltage that we're putting out here is varying with time, and the oscilloscope lets us track that. Okay, cut that.